Good evening, I'm Stephanie Seacos. It's Thursday, May 21st. This is CTV News at 11:30. Tonight, force failure. A report finds the RCMP failed a Nova Scotia woman who was murdered by her neighbor. Then searching for savings, why there were extra long lines at some gas stations around the region. And later, tax burden, why Halifax is relying on property taxes much more than other Canadian cities.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Stephanie Seacos.
Thanks for joining us. Bruce Frisco is off tonight. Before she was murdered by her neighbor nearly a decade ago, a Nova Scotia woman told the RCMP she had been sexually assaulted and harassed by him. Her complaints were not investigated and her fears ignored. Now the Force's Complaints Commission has released a report blaming the Mounties for failing her. And as CTV's Jonathan McGinnis reports, they've made dozens of recommendations to ensure it doesn't happen again.
But I, as the commanding officer for the province of Nova Scotia, do apologize to the family.
9 years after Susan Butland was killed by her neighbor, a report into her death and what preceded it has been released by the Civilian Review and Complaints Commission.
My first response is, well, how tragic this is, that this woman was sexually assaulted in some way and subsequently killed by the same suspect.
That suspect is Ernest Ross Jr. Duggan. Butland filed a sexual assault complaint with RCMP 2 months before her murder. Police investigated but didn't file charges. The CRCC report found serious failures in how the case was handled, calling the initial investigation grossly inadequate. Other findings say RCMP members did not take reasonable steps to keep Ms. Butland safe. She was treated without respect or care. They say police failed to investigate or properly document reports that Ms. Butland was being threatened and intimidated by the neighbor. And the RCMP did not warn her about these risks or take steps to protect her from the neighbor who ultimately took her life. RCMP members who investigated the complaint relied on harmful myths and stereotypes about sexual assault.
Well, the statement was very scathing, ultimately, and what it speaks to, I think, are a couple of different possibilities. One is training, one is ability, one is actually getting the job done.
The report also offered 79 recommendations, including creating specialized units in every division to handle and oversee sexual assault cases, review all past sexual assault investigations conducted by the member who took Ms. Butland's complaint, and ensure that he is not permitted to investigate sexual assault complaints until he has received all of the recommended operational guidance, and require training for all members who respond to or investigate sexual assault.
We have had significant advancement for those changes. As I mentioned, we've increased the amount of training, the trauma-informed approach that our officers use within these investigations.
The RCMP commissioner has agreed with a significant majority of the CRCC's findings and recommendations and committed to creating specialized sexual assault units. Jonathan McGinnis, CTV News, Halifax.
Get the Maritimes top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
2 people have been charged in the death of a child in Eskazoni First Nation. The child died suddenly at a home in the community last August. A 37-year-old woman and 42-year-old man, both from Eskazoni, are facing charges of failing to provide the necessities of life and criminal negligence causing death. The suspects were released on conditions and are due to appear in Eskazoni Provincial Court in June. A Nova Scotia man has been charged with first-degree murder in connection to the disappearance of a Pictou County man. Stephen Boudreau was reported missing from Hopewell on April 19th. Police say the initial investigation determined the circumstances around his disappearance were suspicious. A month after he was reported missing, 29-year-old Cody Reed Palmer from Torbrook was charged with first-degree murder. He remains in custody at this time. Police say the investigation is ongoing. A wildfire burning in Lake Echo, Nova Scotia has now been declared under control, though crews will remain on scene monitoring for hotspots. Lake Echo is located to the east of Dartmouth. Halifax fire crews were busy this afternoon fighting the fire. They had about 15 pieces of equipment on site. Crews were first called around 1:30 for a fire in the Jenkins Boulevard area. Members of the Department of Natural Resources and the Department of Emergency Management were also on scene assisting crews. A nearby homeowner said he saw embers falling onto his property at the height of the fire. Area residents were told to be ready to evacuate, though no evacuations were ordered. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Months after a dozen volunteer Sackville firefighters turned in their pagers, stepping away from active duty, the future of the department is still a major issue in the Tantramar area. An independent legal probe examined allegations ranging from policy violations and workplace toxicity to issues of leadership within the service. The municipality is now reviewing the findings with legal counsel to determine next steps, which will be presented to the incoming council. They are advising the public that priority remains safe and reliable fire protection services. There were some pretty long lineups at some gas stations across the region. That's because there was a special deal on for a very limited time. As CTV's Avery McRae reports, drivers were searching for savings, even if they were only temporary.
Never before have St. Johners been more excited to fill their tank for $1.87.
Look at the cars here, you know, crazy.
The lengthy lineups were because of Circle K's Fuel Days. The promotion pinched pennies for motorists, who saved 10 cents a liter from 3 this afternoon until 7 this evening.
It's down some, but it should be down more and it should stay down. It's quite frustrating. Seeing how I'm driving the truck, I don't get very many kilometers to the gallon.
The promotion was a Canada-wide event. Nova Scotians were limited to just 100 liters of fuel per vehicle. Prince Edward Islanders had to pay before fueling, while New Brunswickers had no restrictions. The average driver is saving around $5 a tank. It's a small saving, but long lines at the pumps prove every dollar matters.
It's really not about gas promotion. It's actually more about generating traffic.
University of New Brunswick marketing professor Yun Churching Yu says gas retailers make little off their fuel sales and rely more on selling lottery tickets and tobacco products to generate money. She believes Fuel Days pays for itself.
Every news story, every social media post of the lineup, did you hear about Fuel Day, conversations like that, that's actually, doing a lot more PR and branding work that Circle K didn't have to pay for at all.
But come 7:01, gas will go back to nearly $2 a liter, which is having a big impact on people's bottom line.
And you think that just a few months ago we were paying significantly less, and now all of a sudden it's jacked up, and it's, you know what, for the average person it's cutting deep into their pockets, and that's not really a fun thing for them.
Fuel prices are expected to change in all 3 maritime provinces tomorrow. With most places already seeing prices at over $2 a liter, people I spoke with today would like to see the 10-cent savings stick around. But even if a cent comes off tomorrow, they will take it. Avery McRae, CTV News, St. John.
Hockey fans got the chance to hear stories from former NHL stars Marc-Andre Fleury and Maxime Talbot during Heart and Strokes in the Crease fundraiser tonight in Moncton. A sold-out crowd packed Casino New Brunswick for the event, which featured on-stage conversations, fan interaction, and fundraising efforts in support of Heart and Stroke New Brunswick. It was also a chance for Fleury to return to the Maritimes, where he played 3 seasons with the Cape Breton Eagles, which launched his decorated 21-season NHL career.
I talked to a lot of the kids here, and I think, well, they're Habs fans or Leafs fans or Bruins fans out here, or maybe even an Oiler fan, but it's crazy how many Pittsburgh Penguin fans exist. And I would say that's the Crosby effect, but also I would say that's the Marc-Andre Fleury effect.
Organizers say support for the event will help fund heart and stroke programs, research, and community initiatives across New Brunswick. Still to come tonight, we'll have your full maritime weather forecast. But up next, addressing wait times.
You have to advocate for yourself, which is a very unfortunate state of affairs in this province right now.
The growing issue of mammograms in Nova Scotia being delayed and what the province says it's doing about it. That's after the break. Nova Scotia's health minister couldn't escape questions about long wait times for mammograms. She was grilled by reporters at a cabinet meeting today, forced to explain what the province is doing to address chokeholds in the system. As CTV's Vanessa Wright reports, her answers are cold comfort to those facing an already stressful cancer journey.
Hilary Doucette has had a mammogram every year since she turned 40. It's something she's grown accustomed to with her family history of breast cancer. So when she got the call last August that her routine mammogram was being put off to December 2026, she started making calls.
You have to advocate for yourself, which is a very unfortunate state of affairs in this province right now.
She managed to get her mammogram appointment moved up by 1 year.
I don't think that women should have to wait well over a year to get a mammogram, especially when you're presenting with a lump or something that is not right in your body and you know that it's not right. The consequences of hurry up and waiting and not staffing these positions promptly can lead to death. That is the reality that we are facing right now as women in this province.
That new appointment confirmed she had invasive stage 2, grade 2 ductal carcinoma. Looking back, she can't help but wonder what would have happened if she hadn't pushed for an earlier appointment.
Where would I be? Would it be stage 4? I mean, it was stage 2 when they found it. So where would it be in December of 2026?
Today, Health Minister Michelle Thompson defended the province's efforts and said they are actively recruiting radiation technologists.
We know that this is a very in-demand profession, and we've been working at recruitment internationally and obviously domestically.
As for the long wait times,
they vary across the province, and certainly there are wait times. Last quarter wait times are posted on the wait time website so people can see, and some places do have shorter wait times.
But that doesn't satisfy people like Doucette who feel forced to take matters into their own hands.
A message to women is, listen, be your own voice. Don't take no for an answer. Call, make calls, call the complaint line. Do everything that you can to advocate for yourself because your life is valuable.
Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
It's a medication that can stop a heart attack. Paramedics in Nova Scotia already have access to so-called clotbusters for patients being rushed to hospital. Now, New Brunswick is jumping on board. CTV's Nick Moore now on what it could mean for patients and paramedics.
Every second counts if you're having a heart attack, and what happens between a 911 call and arriving at the ER can mean life or death. The New Brunswick government says it will commit up to $2.5 million to equip advanced care paramedics with pre-hospital thrombolytics for patients who are experiencing certain types of heart attacks. The medications are also known as clotbusters.
It goes right to the clot, dissolves it, and instantly you have an improvement in flow to that area of the heart.
The medication can also help to prevent permanent heart damage from a cardiac event.
That means at the end of it all, they come out with a heart that hasn't had muscle or tissue damage to the same extent.
This was on Premier Susan Holt's radar back when she was leader of the official opposition.
We put it right into our next budget and then started the process of developing the guidelines, making sure we had clear processes for how this would be deployed.
Paramedics are already administering these medications in Nova Scotia, along with British Columbia, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario. Health Minister Dr. John Dornan says there was at one time skepticism in the medical community about these types of pre-hospital interventions.
35 years ago, I did not know the risks, the benefits, the route of administration, so I was nervous. Now we have a team that knows all those things. They know the indications, they work with the team, they know how to do it, they know the ups and downs of it.
Paramedics have been begging for the ability to administer these medications to patients who need it.
Paramedics tell us they want to do more in healthcare, they want more opportunities to help out our system. So when we give paramedics more opportunity, then we will see them want to stay in their careers longer. The average lifespan of a career in New Brunswick for a paramedic is about 8 years, which is not a long time.
Ambulance New Brunswick will begin using thrombolytics this summer. Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.
Time now for a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your full maritime weather forecast. But first, we saw a beautiful sunset over Lake Micmac in Dartmouth. Coming up, Kaylin will tell us about some frosty weather headed our way. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Meteorologist Kaylin Mitchell joins us now with your maritime weather forecast, and it's a little chilly out there tonight.
It is. What a big difference over the last 24 hours. We went from record-setting high temperatures in all three maritime provinces on Wednesday as we got into that May heat, and then a little cold front went through, northwest wind kind of flipped the script on us, and now it's going to be a brisker night with a risk of some frost for parts of the Maritimes. And the ingredients for frost, of course, are cooler temperatures, a clear sky, and some lighter winds. And we have all three of those things for tonight, and we're expecting some fairly clear conditions, actually, as we make our way into and even through the first part of the weekend, as this area of high pressure is currently over the Great Lakes will be the weather system in charge of weather around the Maritimes. So not a lot to show you here on our forecast timeline heading into the start of the day for tomorrow. Should be plenty of sunshine around the region. Temperatures cool in the morning, and then in the afternoon, a lot of high temperatures similar to today. Many in the low to mid-teens, maybe a little bit warmer for a few parts of the west of New Brunswick. Let's take a look at the winds in the forecast. So this is for tonight and heading into tomorrow. They're generally light first thing Friday morning, but by Friday afternoon, gusts will have increased back up to the range around 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, so breezy, and a few peak wind gusts could be as high as near 50 kilometers per hour around the Acadian Peninsula in New Brunswick, as well as parts of the east of Nova Scotia, parts of the North Shore, and in Cape Breton. Here's a look at the frost advisories in effect for the Maritimes. So covering the province of New Brunswick and most of the province of Nova Scotia, the risk of frost will be highest in areas away from the coast and at lower elevations like spaces in between hills, for example, some of the valleys. And if you have any early season temperature-sensitive plants out that you can cover up or bring inside, might not be a bad night to do so. Now, no frost advisories out for Prince Edward Island, but I do think there's a low risk of some patchy frost in the interior of that province. So once again, away from coastal areas. Here's a look at the low temperatures for tonight and for many parts of the Maritimes. They'll be falling into a range around the low to mid single digits, even a little bit chillier than that for some communities in the north of New Brunswick. There, falling into a range around -2 to +2. High temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow for the north of New Brunswick between 14 and 17 degrees, with central and southern parts of the province with high temperatures mostly between 14 and 18. You can see a little bit milder towards the southwest, 18 at St. Stephen, 17 at McAdam, and St. John, 16 degrees for Moncton in the southeast. For Prince Edward Island for tomorrow, high temperatures 10 to 14 degrees, cool morning, sunny through the afternoon. Mind the UV index, it is starting to become a little bit more on the higher side. So if you're out there working in the sun, don't forget about some sun protection. In Cape Breton for tomorrow, high temperatures between 7 and 11 degrees. And around the north shore of Nova Scotia, high temperatures around 13. On the eastern shore, mostly around 11, 12 degrees. 16 for Amherst for tomorrow, and for Truro, 16 degrees for the city centers Halifax and Dartmouth, and 14 for Lunenburg. The Annapolis Valley for tomorrow with high temperatures near 16 degrees, 14 at Digby, and on the south shore of Nova Scotia, 16 for Liverpool and Shelburne, and 13 for Yarmouth. In the extended forecast for New Brunswick, it's more sunshine for Saturday, then a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday. High temperatures on Sunday, high teens, low 20s. Cools on Monday with rain in the forecast. That's followed by a chance of showers on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and then a mix of sun and cloud next Thursday. Here we are for Nova Scotia in the extended outlook, and coming up for the start of the weekend on Saturday, it's sunshine, high temperatures in the mid to high teens, cooler on parts of the coast. Sunday, high temperatures in the high teens, low 20s, cooler on parts of the coast. It's then rain in the forecast on Monday, highs in the low teens. Chance of shower follows for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and cloudy periods for Thursday. And finally, for Prince Edward Island, sunshine in the forecast for Saturday, highs near 12 degrees up to 18 on Sunday with a mix of sun and cloud. Rain for Monday with the high temperatures close to 15, then near 12 with the chance of showers Tuesday and Wednesday. Cloudy periods for Thursday of next week. Stephanie.
Thanks, Kaylin. Time now for a short break. Stay with us. Much more to come tonight on CTV News at 11:30.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
One of the biggest barriers to seeing a better city comes down to how the municipality is funded. That's according to Halifax's deputy mayor. She says the municipality is too reliant on property taxes. CTV's Callum Smith reports.
Less than 2 months ago, Halifax councillors signed off on a 9.5% increase to the municipal portion of property tax bills. Speaking at the State of the Municipality address, Deputy Mayor Patty Cuddle said the province and municipality may be aligned on priorities, but alignment is needed on funding too.
What we're figuring out is that growth is not paying for growth. So when you need to raise rates, to raise revenue, to deliver on projects for future development, really, you know, it's like existing residents paying for future growth. And that's not how rates and taxes are supposed to work.
About 71% of the city's operating revenue comes from property taxes, or 82% with other tax agreements and payments in lieu, putting HRM near the top of cities relying on property taxes, with Moncton atop municipalities HRM staff reviewed at 88%, CBRM at 77%, St. John's 59%, and only 35% in Toronto and Winnipeg. The mayor has already been tasked with penning a letter to the province seeking a review of funding contributions to the municipality.
It's tremendously important. We're all suffering. I mean, every level of government, but, you know, we're sitting here closest to the people with no means to gather any more, funding.
User fees is one alternative to increase revenue. Yarmouth Mayor Pam Mood says 75% of her town's operating budget comes from property taxes. The past president of the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities wants fiscal change.
It touches every single municipal unit, which means that it affects every single citizen. We need to have those conversations, obviously, with the province and see, what else can happen.
The Nova Scotia government didn't respond to CTV's questions by deadline today.
I'd say it's more of a structural issue than a provincial one or a federal one, though all municipalities are creatures of statute. The fundamental issue is I don't know if there is any exact perfect model of taxes.
The Taxpayers Federation says it boils down to politicians spending in the most cost-effective way. Callum Smith, CTV News, Halifax.
Time now for one last break this evening. Coming up next, your wake-up weather for Friday. But first, here's a live look this evening at St. John, where it is 9 degrees right now, though it will get down to a cool 2 degrees overnight. Kayla will be back to break down the morning forecast when we come back. Stay. Welcome back. Let's see how your Friday is shaping up. Kaylin is back now with your wake-up weather, and Kaylin will be off to a cool start to the day.
That's right. So Friday morning will be sunny for all 3 maritime provinces. You may want to have the sunglasses for the morning commute, but take a look at the early morning temperatures, mostly around the low to mid-single digits. Now, those temperatures can recover a little bit, making their way into it through the afternoon. A lot of the high temperatures for tomorrow for the Maritimes will come up towards the low to mid-teens. Sunshine through Friday afternoon, and again, more sunshine to get the upcoming weekend started. Stephanie.
Thanks, Kaylin. Finally for us tonight, a new boat school is now making waves on the Halifax waterfront. The imposing new facility on the boardwalk will help the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic meet the growing demand for hands-on boat building programs and on-the-water experiences for underserved youth. For the last 10 years, the programs were held in small boat sheds at the museum.
A boat school focused on serving kids at risk from underserved communities. It's a project that nobody has said, this is a stupid idea. Everyone that we've talked to about it has loved it, and people who love something are willing to give to support it.
The boat school is supported through a mix of public and private funding, totaling more than $15 million. And that will do it for us tonight. A reminder, if you joined us late or would like another look at any of our stories, you can always visit our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. It's your home for news. From all of us here tonight, thanks for watching. Have a great night, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.